Hey, welcome to Nomadic Moments. I'm your host, Jake. Today we're going to continue the series that we were doing on the renovations that we did to our home and truck camper, Yolem. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the bathroom, or really the toilet today. One of the essential needs of any life on the road, or just life in general. The Palomino Bronco 1500 that we have came with a toilet, came with an entire bathroom, an indoor shower and everything. The problem being that the black tank was really small, and we would have had to been going to dump sites on a regular basis. Some of those charge money, things like that. We were wanting something a little simpler, a little easier, so we found a cassette toilet. So the cassette toilet makes life really easy. You can pull it out, take it into any toilet there is, so a flush toilet in a gas station, for instance, a friend's house, a really good friend's house, or like a pit toilet, outhouse type of thing. So they're really easy to get rid of. You don't have to make your way to a black site all the time. The second reason why we had to redo our bathroom is the Palomino doesn't come with a gray tank, so no way to actually hold sink water. The Palominos came with basically just a spout. They just dump onto the ground outside the camper. That's how they're intended to be used. Now it's actually against the law in many states to dump gray water willy-nilly, so we needed a place to hold our gray water until we found a good site to dump it in. So that's the reason why we redid our bathroom. Why don't you come along and I'll show you how we went about that. Okay, so for today's project, we're going to be replacing the toilet. Pulling this one out, and I'll be replacing it with a cassette toilet. So there's a few things that are involved, but we're going to start by removing the door, the shower, stuff like that, the toilet, and then we'll get the other unit out here and get everything measured up. We got to cut through the back wall so that the cassette is accessible. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. I've removed the door, and I've also removed the toilet. I'm starting to remove the shower area there, but I'm going to have to cut through the pipe. That's the ventilation pipe for the old toilet, for the old black tank. The cassette toilets don't need ventilation, so we'll remove that completely, which will be nice because right now it goes through the pop-up roof. And if it's not aligned perfectly, then the roof has a hard time sitting down, so it should be really nice to get rid of that. It's behind that sleeve there. This is the hole that accesses the plumbing. So you would normally open up this valve when you went to the dump site. We've already cut through the pipe right here, so we can drop it. I've got to cut through that pipe back there. That's the one that runs from the shower. Anyways, so I had to cut through that pipe so the tank will come out. So the tank's right there, and it's attached to the floor of the shower / toilet area, so can't get that out till I remove that. So I removed the pipe over in the corner that was venting the black tank, because there is no need for that. So I had to remove the caulking from the roof to get the piece off of there, and then remove the plumbing that was coming out of here, as well as the water that was going in there, just so that I could slide the whole shower assembly up like this. So once we finished removing all the old plumbing from the roof and the floor, we had some holes, obviously, that needed to be sealed up. For the roof, I used one of these it's kind of like it's what you use on the drywall to keep your door handle from marring up your drywall. So I just pre-drilled some holes around the outside, screwed that into the roof, and then weather sealed it. Used one of these on the inside too, just to make it look nice. And then in the corner where the plumbing was going through the floor, we just used some plywood, 1/2-inch plywood that we weather sealed and screwed in and made sure it was weather tight as well. So this piece of particle board that was holding up the toilet and the black water tank and the shower trough is stapled into those 2x4s underneath there, the supports, and then it's screwed into the walls, into the floor from there. So you can see I cut through the board there, and I'm going to have to take it out piece by piece so I can access the screws underneath. Okay, so a few things have changed here. We had to take out this wall on the left. It was too big anyways, so we were wanting to cut it down. So I'm going to rebuild that in the garage. I was able to finally get all the flooring out. Had to pop a strip screw out of there, so that was difficult, but the flooring's gone. We're down to the actual floor here. So this panel over here has a lot of holes in it from all the various things that it was before, so I'm going to pull that off and replace it with a sheet of glue on as well. Typically what we're going to do is we're actually going to face this away when we're in there, and then take that curtain and kind of pop it onto a hook that we're going to put over here on this cabinet. So about to close up this cabinet area. We're going to expand to make a bigger door than what was there before, so we can make it more usable now that the toilet's lower. Yeah, that's kind of the plan we have right now. So here it is. This is our space for the bathroom, sort of. We've decided to go without a shower. We're going to go with just the outdoor shower for now, and then use the showers at facilities like gyms and things like that. So we're going to put the toilet here. We've increased the size of the door here so this cabinet will be a little bit more accessible. We went with an accent panel here because we couldn't match this for one, but for two, it just kind of gives the space some color. Alright, so we're about to start working on the installing the toilet here. We'll have to drill some holes through the back wall to mount our templates. If I'm honest, Thetford leaves something to be desired when it comes to trying to figure out how to make this work. The instructions simply say cut out the template, which I did, and then it says place it on the inside of the vehicle on the right location and drill 2 holes through the wall. They don't tell you how to know what's the right location. I think we're okay. So this is the bottom lip of the toilet, and that sits about a little over 2 inches above the floor, so we'll just add this distance in, and that's where we'll drill our hole. All of this is to drill a hole and then place the outside template on those holes so you can figure out how to cut your spacing. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but the directions, you got to figure it out. Where you're supposed to drill that hole is kind of complicated. The few things they do have are metric. Here in the States we are standard, so got to work on figuring out what those actually are, but luckily I have a calculator on my phone for that. I figured that my hole needs to be 1 3/4 of an inch up on the inside, and then 14 11/16 from the floor again to the second hole. I just like to give the same dimensions off of the point that I am measuring from, so I have marked this up on the wall here, and we're about to drill through. I'm going to double check all my math, but I think I got it all right. Again, that's 1 3/4 and 14 11/16, and then of course you want to make sure that you're center on wherever you're wanting to be, so, or at least in alignment. It doesn't have to be center, but I'm going center on this outside wall, and I use the door frame to measure from, since the cabinet is not straight. They didn't build it straight. I figured that out last night, so hopefully the door frame's straight. If not, the door might be a little crooked on the outside. So okay, so I got my holes drilled and I'm on the outside of the vehicle. You have to attach this piece of paper. It's the A template to the outside of the trailer, and that gives you a template for how to cut the holes and stuff. You want to drill the 1/8 inch holes that we went through. You're going to put a screw into them, as you can see right there. One thing that Thetford did really good is I mean, the paper rips really easy, so when you drill through it, you're not going to be able to keep that hole alignment very well. But the head on the screw is outlined on the piece of paper, so it makes it easier to kind of keep that alignment as you're going through. So I found it pretty easy. Got it taped off and sharpied up, my template there. Installation manual says to tape both sides of the black line after you outline it on the camper itself, but I prefer to just cut through the tape, so that's what I did. So I just put the tape behind the template and then traced the template onto the tape there. So the next thing to do is to drill a hole for the starting point for the jig, and then we'll jigsaw that out. Alright, so I always recommend wearing safety gear when using power tools and things like this. I got the hole cut though. Got a little tough here and there, but I think it's because we hit some screws. We're going to reinforce it with pieces of wood, so I cut these out to size, and I had to scrape the foam out of the pocket there just a little bit to depth, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just take that and slide it right in. So we're going to cut the door piece that goes inside the panel, inside the door panel, so this piece. So you cut out the panel B, and then you'll trace that onto your piece that you cut out of the camper earlier. Yeah, so you can see I taped it up again, traced the outline from the template. For me, I went up a little bit instead of down near the bottom because this is hollow underneath here, as you can see. So I'm going to try to cut the hollow piece out so it's nice and it's got insulation all the way through. So I'll clamp it to here and then we'll jig that out and it'll be ready to assemble. So we've got our piece and we cleaned all the tape off of it. This will go inside this unit. So we've got to put in these little brackets come with the door. Little UV brackets. They're going to go all the way around the edge. I guess is they hold in the panel. So we're going to just put those there, and we're going to pound them in with the mallet. So like that, all the way around. So next we're going to put sealant inside this groove on the inside of the frame here. This is the door, the outer door. There's a little groove right in there. We're just going to seal that up real nice with, I'm using RV ProFlex. So we'll put a nice even coat there, and then we'll put the door in. And now we'll take this guy and we'll pop it down in there. Obviously make sure that your outer panel is towards the outside of the door, so otherwise this is not waterproof. So. And then it says to give it a little tap. Just like that. So next we'll take this this inner piece and again make sure it has the brackets on it. You're going to fit that down right inside of there, just like that. And we're going to pound it in with the mallet and it should hold the panel in. It's a snug fit. Alright, next step we're going to take and we're going to just put some seal around this edge. It's going to be up against the camper. Okay, so the sealant's on there. We're going to put it into the camper now. Just make sure the door is faced the direction you want it to be, obviously. And it'll have a little play in it, so if you're one of those people who really want something, you know, straight up and down, I'd suggest giving it a measurement. So then we're going to take and we're going to pre-drill our holes and then put our screws in. And you can see the putty's coming out here a little bit, so we'll probably have to clean that up a little bit, make sure it gets it cut in the hinges and stuff. So we'll do the rest of the holes and we'll be done. Or, well, done with this step. Okay, the last step is to put the inside panel on, which I already did. We weren't recording, so it's pretty easy. You just slide it in there, make sure it's nice and snug. You can pre-drill your holes, which I already did, and then just put your screws in. So. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this bracket for the toilet. It holds it in place. It's got a little lip on the very top of the toilet. Just the toilet will sit down on it and it kind of hooks in there so it can't move around. I've already made my measurements, got my nice center point here, so we'll be mounting it right there. I built this framing that we're going to put in for the wall right here. So I'm going to put this wall right here, and then we'll attach the surface. I saved the old surface for the outside, and then we've got the new wood look for the inside. I put in this wall. I'm gonna put a molding right here around to make it look a little nicer. The toilet is going to go right in there. My toilet didn't come with instructions, so I've been having to talk to Thetford about how you actually install the toilet itself. It comes with these little plastic things, and they cover up these holes, but that's where the plumbing comes through. So I covered up the hole on the other side with one of these, but they give you two. So if you wanted to drill a new hole and put it through there or something, you probably could, but I'm just gonna run the plumbing through here, so I've just gotta cut a hole in the wall over there where the plumbing will come through along with the electrical for the toilet. So once you have your toilet in place, then you can you're going to need to screw it down. So I've already put the little ledge on above and put this toilet out on that, and then you're going to take these screws and you're going to put them you're going to screw it into the floor just like that. This is the hose that came in from the water pump. That's going to supply us water to the toilet. They make this, Thetford makes this removable piece of plastic, which is really nice. So that's going to just kind of go right over like that and sit right in there. And that allows the pump and the electrical to pass through. They give you this 1/2-inch water hose. I had to go out and get a barb to go inside there, and then we'll clamp it down, and that should be the water. For the electrical, you got 4 wires here. The gray and the purple have to do with water pump, but they're only necessary if you have more than 8 bars of pressure. You'll need a regulator basically that these attach to. I don't have that kind of pressure, so I'm going to use just the power and negative. They give you this connection, but they don't give you the other end of it. I couldn't find a female version of that connector. I don't know why they don't send it with it, but they don't. So anyways, the fix was I just got a female blade connector, 2 female blades connectors, did the positive and the negative right onto the blades there. Works perfectly, haven't had it slip or anything. The other option would obviously be just to cut those wires back, splice them together and go that route. So one of the last things we did is we added this end cap, which I picked up from our local Camper World. Just cleans up the edges of the walls. So that's it. That's how we redid our bathroom, so we're not having to seek out those black sites all the time. The cassette toilet works really well. I like that we've increased basically our usable size here by utilizing this space behind the curtain. If you want more details, check out the web link below to our site, or hit us up with a comment and we'll do the best we can to answer any questions you might have. Send us a comment, ask us a question, whatever you need. This also gave us the space we needed for our gray tank, which we'll be covering in the next video, so stay tuned, and until then, we're going to keep traveling.